Jacques de Selliers, Managing Director of Going Electric. We're here at a Fondation EurActiv event in Brussels, and you've been discussing electric cars. Clearly a very important topic when it relates to climate change and energy usage in the future. What's your organisation's stance on this subject?
Well, we clearly think that electric cars are the future. Now, when I mean electric cars, I don't mean only battery electric cars, but I also mean fuel cell electric cars and also plug-in hybrids, especially one kind, which is the extended range plug-ins.
Okay, now, looking at the direction that the conversations relating to climate change and energy efficiency are going, there's clearly a very large gap between what governments are discussing and the man on the street. Thinking about the communication aims of this subject, what do you think is required to really make the average person understand that they need to be reducing their carbon footprint?
I really think consumers go by their purse. You know, if things that are good for the environment are cheaper and made cheaper through proper taxing and incentive programs, people will go for them. And this is the same for electric cars. Electric cars for the moment are more expensive than petrol cars because they are produced in low volumes. But the day they'll start being, produced in high volumes, they'll become affordable. But to enable this to happen, we need governmental support, public money to allow this step towards a cleaner future.
Okay. Now, you mentioned public money, and essentially we're talking subsidies there, aren't we, at this stage? What sort of areas are you thinking of subsidies in? Because there must be many infrastructure elements that would be required to be changed or updated.
I think the main things are indeed subsidies for consumers, to help them, making the step of buying a more expensive car, to reduce the price of this more expensive car. But I think that there are other incentives that are equally important, if not more. It's things like, free congestion charge for electric vehicles and electric vehicles only, because if you also give free congestion charge to petrol cars, it's worthless. Or as well as the right of driving on bus lanes. And other things like free unlimited parking on public space and so on. All these are very powerful incentives that will certainly contribute to the transition towards electric vehicle.
Okay, now that's interesting because obviously at the moment, the world being petrol-based, the subsidies don't necessarily always help the right people, do they? There are possibilities for subsidies to kind of backfire and help the wrong group. So you think rather than just financial subsidies, you think actual usage subsidies and usage advantages are the way forward?
Definitely. I mean, we think it should be a combination of both. It should also be some incentives for car manufacturers, like, loans for investing in, electric car plants or research incentives as well. With battery electric cars, for instance, are very old technology. As a matter of fact, 100 years ago, there were more battery cars than petrol cars. Okay. Things have changed and so on. So the technology is old, but there's been a lot of progress, especially in battery technology in the recent years. And I'm sure that this progress is going to keep on happening at a very fast rate once car batteries for electric cars start to be mass-produced.
Okay, now again, it's interesting that you mention batteries and the progress, because this clearly falls in line with the EU 2020, with innovation as a strategy, with clean energy. What do you think is the likely outcome? How long is it going to take before we really get to a stage where we've got green energy, low carbon technology everywhere in society?
Again, it depends on governments and the incentives they will provide. And as you know, governments are as unpredictable as the weather. So I can't speak for them. I think it could go rather fast if, governments again would provide the right incentives in the right direction.
Okay, Jacques de Selliers, thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you very much to you.